Hi, you're listening to Martin, and this is another video in my series looking at getting started with OpenInsight 10. And today's lesson is all about the menu designer. Now, the entity that we're going to be working with is the Mdi Main Entity, which should be at the top of your recent items list. If it isn't, and you don't have your favorites open, those of you that are vigilant will have seen that there's a word favorites at the top here on the start page. And if you click on that, that will show you your favorites. So what we can do here is simply click on Mdi Main and it will launch the Forms Designer and our Mdi Main windows. That's another nice, easy, quick way of getting to your favorites. So today we're going to be looking at the menu and designing it. Now, when we created our window, we opted to have the default menu created for us. So OpenInsight has already done a lot of work for us. It's created as a skeleton menu and it's added on a number of prompts. So we've got read row, save row, clear form, delete row, close and exit. Now, one of the things that jumps out straight away is that for our buttons for clear form, I used a different graphic. I had a plain piece of paper. For delete row, I used the cross. So we're going to start to confuse our users because our toolbar and our menu bar are now inconsistent, and we're going to need to tidy that up. And we've also got some other menu items. So edit doesn't have cut, copy and paste, which we'd expect to be there. For view, we've got some navigation controls. That's great. For QBF, well, I've got buttons for my QBF, so it would be nice to have the same graphics that I've got on the buttons in the menu, so we might want to add the graphics in there. For window, again, we might want to add some graphics in here, and again for help. So a lot of work has been done, but there is still work that we need to do. Now, to do that, we need to come over to the right hand side of the Forms Designer, and the second button in, if we click that, that will launch the menu builder for us. Now, the menu builder is made up of an initial screen or panel on the left hand side here, which gives us a visual representation of our menu. We then have an area for our quick events, an area for our scripts, and the normal property panel on the right hand side, and thankfully far fewer for this than other properties. So if we were to click on read row, for instance, you'll now see that the interface changes to show the quick event, which is very simply to send an event to the MDI active and to fire the read event. So in other words, if there is an ID number, a valid ID number for a record, then it will take that ID and display that record on screen. Now, I tend to work in the Windows world and I prefer to use the word record to row. Row is something that's legacy for Revelation people and it's perfectly legitimate, but I prefer to have record. So over here in the pop-up item text, we have ampersand read row, which is our label, and then we also have Control R. Now the ampersand will simply put a line under the R because of the shortcut key. Now, I don't want to play around with any of that, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the OW and I'm going to change that to record, leaving the Control R in place. Now, if we want to change the accelerator key, we do that at the bottom here where it says accelerator key, and we can change that, for instance, to H, and you'll see at the top it will change in our text. And if we want to change the control to something else, then we can do that. I'm going to change this back to R because I don't want to get myself in a mess. But that's how you can show the accelerator keys actually in the menu when your users are working. So I'm quite happy for that menu item now. So we'll go down to save row, and in this instance again I just want to change the name to be record. Now make sure that you click or tab off to make that change. I warn you, if you don't and you go on to another menu item, it will actually edit the menu, the new menu item, not the old one. So just be careful of that. Clear form, well, that's all wrong because we're happy with the description. That's absolutely fine, but we've got the wrong graphic. So what we'll do now is we'll go into our images, and as before we'll simply scroll down to where our MP images are, and this is another reason why I use this naming convention, and we want document plain new. We click OK, and then for delete row I want to come into here and I want to change that to delete record, and we also need to change the graphic to be our MP delete, so it's now consistent with our toolbar. Now we've got close, which will be to close the record, and we've got exit, which would be to exit out of the application. So if we click on close, for instance, this is sending event to the MDI active to close the window, whereas exit is sending the event to the MDI frame to close. So we're happy with the description there, but what I am going to do is I'm going to set an image, and the image that we're going to choose will be our exit image. So again, it's consistent with our toolbar, and I'm going to leave the close one blank for the moment, but you might want to get an image of a window with an X on it to say closing. It's entirely up to you. We're then going to add an item to the edit menu item. So this is a top level and these are sub levels. So we select the top level and we simply add in cut, and we click the add button, and we'll do copy. Now if you hit return, that will also drop that menu item in there, and we'll have paste. Now the other thing that I want to do is I want to have a line between paste and options, and we can do that up here by this one, the add menu separator, and then that will put a line between our cut, copy, paste and options. So for cut, I'm going to have an image, and this is going to be the cut, so we're happy with that. We could put some help text in here if we want to, the same as before. So cut the selected text to the Windows clipboard. So that's some descriptive text that's come up. I'm not going to have an accelerator key because cut is typically Control X, and we can see that off the OpenInsight menu here, so Control X, and we don't have an X. There's no point in putting a line under it. But what we do need to do is we need to add an event script. Now if you can't remember the script that we need to put in here, one of the beautiful things about OpenInsight 10 over previous versions is that we've got our form open and our menu, and we can flick between the two. So we can come into the button, come across to events and open up the script editor. We can copy, and in here we can paste our code, and we're done. So all we now need to do is to go through all of the other menu items. So for copy, now for copy we might want to have a shortcut key, so we'll put an ampersand, and I'm happy with copy. And our accelerator key will be a C, and we're going to go with the control, and we will grab an image which will be our copy image, that one there, and our help text will be copy selected text to the Windows clipboard. Now I'm not going to go through all of these because you've already got the idea, but you're going to want to go through and add graphics that coincide with your menu, and once you've done that, then you can just save and close, and we're done with the event, so we can just close out of that. And then if we test run our form, I get an abort. If you get an assertion error, just ignore it for the moment. It's because I'm working with an early version of OpenInsight. But now if we run our test window and I put 1, 2, 3 in there, and I go edit copy, then that would have copied that text to the clipboard. Now, unfortunately I can't do paste because I didn't finish the button up. But basically that is how we modify our menu. So that's the introduction to the menu builder. I'll leave you to work through the rest of the menu. If you've got any questions, then please email me. If you struggle, please email me and I'll let you know what you need to do. But that's a very quick introduction to the menu builder. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.